Good morning, YouTube. My name is Carlos Cabanas, and I came to talk to you today about a book called Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell. And there's a chapter in here, The Law of Obedience. See, we know that there's a formless substance, we know there's an infinite supply of it, and we know that anybody can build wealth if they want to. But there are laws to building wealth. So if you want to build wealth, you've got to obey those laws. If you don't obey those laws, you're not going to get wealthy. The easiest way to show you is have a ball. No matter how bad I want to stick this ball up in the air, every time I let it go, it's going to fall because there's a law of gravity. And I can't disobey the law of gravity and stick this ball up in the air and have it stay put. Every time I let it go, it's going to fall. Every time I throw it up in the air, it's going to come back down because that's the law of gravity. I can't disobey that law. Well, the same thing works for building wealth. You have to believe that there is enough resources out there for you to have whatever you want. If you work with those laws, the law says if you do A, you get B. You know, see a lot of people they get in their car and they go speeding. And speeding is against the law. You run the risk of getting a ticket. Why? Because you're not obeying the law. And you get punished when you don't obey the law. Well, the same thing works when you're trying to build wealth. If you don't obey all the laws that were set up to make you wealthy, guess what happens? You don't get wealthy because you're not obeying the law. And the laws are so precise that if you actually followed and obeyed each and every one of those laws, there's no way that you can't get rich because it's based off scientific principle. It's the way we are supposed to be. We are supposed to want more, have more, be more, do more. But in order to have more, you have to get more. And to get more, you have to obey all these laws so that you can build the wealth that you want. And the more that you disobey those laws, the less likelihood there is that you will get wealthy. You know, when you have a child, you teach a child all these rules to make them obedient to follow certain rules so that they don't end up on drugs, they don't end up in jail, they don't end up in gangs. But if those kids grow up and they don't follow those laws and you don't enforce those rules, they end up in jail, they end up in gangs, they end up on drugs, they end up being alcoholic, they end up having problems. Why? Because when they were given rules, when they were given these circumstances, they didn't obey what was right. They obeyed what was wrong, and they got punished for it. Well, the same thing happens when you're trying to build wealth. If you don't believe that there's a supreme power out in the universe that wants you to expand and become more, you won't expand and become more. If you don't believe that there's enough resources out there, there's an infinite supply of this formless substance from which you can build wealth. But if you don't believe that and you don't obey the laws that go with that, you can't build wealth. It's really simple. And what I liked so much about this chapter is it talks about nature a little bit. And it says, nature automatically follows these rules. Nature just does what nature does. And we can't control what nature does. But nature overcomes its own problems by following the laws of nature. So if you want to build wealth, the first thing you have to do is to begin to obey all the laws associated with building wealth. If you obey all of these laws and all of these rules, you can't help but build wealth. And that's what this chapter is talking about. This is like such a powerful lesson that it's really one of those things if you go, duh, I should have known that. So if you want to be successful in life, if you want to be happy in life, you need to start to obey all the laws that go with it. and you'll be a success. And that's my YouTube live for today. Have a great day, everybody. Or go out and make it a great day.